Hello, and welcome to the Writing Wrap-Up Show. Today we are talking about summary versus retelling, okay? First up is summary. When we summarize, we only use the important things from the story. Next up is retelling. When we retell, we use as many details from the story as you can. Okay, so now let's look at some examples. This here is a summary. And this here is a retelling. Okay? The story that we're using to retell is The Tales of Pecos Bill. Okay, so Pecos Bill is this cowboy. And he fell off the back of his carriage as he was a little baby and fell into a river. So coyotes found him, and the coyotes actually raised him. Bill grew up to be the roughest, toughest man there ever was. Then one day, Pecos Bill showed up at a Texas range wearing a big blue bandana. He called out, "Hey, I need some ranch hands that can eat a pot of beans in one gulp and can pick their teeth with barbed wire." Then the prospector said that there are some tough cowhands camped out 200 miles down the river. So Bill and his horse set off in that direction. As they were going, a lion jumped out from behind a rock and attacked Bill. And Bill's horse didn't want to stay around and see what happened next, so he ran off. Now, what happened next, nobody could really tell because it was just a big ball of flying fur. But when the fur settled, the big cat was apologizing to Bill. He said, "What can I do to make up for it?" Bill said, "You can't, but I'm putting this saddle on you. You scared off my horse, and I don't like walking." So, Bill rode the cat all the way 200 miles down the stream. When those cowhands saw him, they immediately made him their leader. Then Bill made them all go back to his ranch in New Mexico. Back on the ranch, Bill caught a wild black horse for himself and named it the Widowmaker. That crazy horse had the power of 12 horses and wouldn't let anybody but Bill ride him. Then one day, Bill saw a woman riding a catfish as big as a boat. She was whooping at the top of her lungs. Bill admired her. Her name was Sue. Then one day, Bill and Sue got married. Sue wore a contraption on the wedding day underneath her dress that made the bottom of her dress stick out very far. It was sort of like a spring. After they got married, Sue really wanted to ride Widowmaker. But because Widowmaker only let Bill on, he knew that something bad would happen. She kept begging, and then eventually, Bill decided to let her on. When Sue got on Widowmaker, Widowmaker bucked her off in a second. She flew sky high into the air. Finally, she came back to the earth, but because of the spring-like contraption in her dress, it acted like a pogo stick and sent her up even higher. This time, she even hit her head on the moon. Bang! Then every time she came back to the earth, she kept bouncing higher and higher. Bill watched his wife just bounce and bounce and bounce. At one point, she got so high that she would only show up twice in a week. Finally, Pecos Bill just left. It took Bill a long time to find another wife, but finally he did. And that wife, he never allowed to ride the Widowmaker. The end. Stay tuned for more weekly wrap-ups. Time for a color show.